In the summer of 2011, while the world was busy following the Arab Spring, nearly 500,000 Israelis took to the streets demanding social justice in the biggest protest in Israel's history. The masses were fed up with paying Swiss prices on Greek salaries and wanted to put an end to the rule of the tycoons. Even the Orthodox Jews were protesting, but mainly against pricey cottage cheese. The movement was nicknamed J14, short for July 14, marking the date a girl called Daphne Leaf pitched the first tent in central Tel Aviv in protest against extortionate rents and living costs. A year on, a group of left-wing activists have managed to keep the protest alive. When we heard they were planning a massive demonstration on the anniversary of the original J14, we jumped on a plane to Tel Aviv to meet young Israelis who come up with all sorts of ways to fight for peace and reform. Soon after landing, we drove to a protest in the West Bank to meet Ronnie, the avatar you just saw, an Israeli Jew who fights for Palestinian rights and who's not happy with how J14 avoids the Palestinian question.
I've never been to a protest like this before. What do I need to be prepared for?
Most of the forms of Palestinian struggle are symbolic more than anything else. This is not an armed struggle. So we should expect to be met with at least tear gas, grenades.
Okay.
Some protesters actually have been hit by these, and actually the protester in Nebi Saleh, Mustafa Tamimi, was actually killed by the direct shot of tear gas canister. And then there's rubber-coated steel bullets,
Okay.
which are not rubber bullets, they are rubber-coated. In the background we can hear both the muezzin speaking, and there were a few shots being fired over there in Yalin, so they probably already started the demonstration. I used to come here to learn Arabic with Waji here, who is kindly driving us to the village. صح حبيبي؟
صح؟
كنت تعلمنا عربي يعني.
صح.
We are coming here as solidarity activists, and I'm not dictating to the Palestinians how they should struggle, in what form. But by actually participating in the struggle, we become equal members. So we participate, we take decisions together, and we also represent the struggle around the world together.
We were told foreign journalists had to wear helmets and flak jackets, but we felt like idiots when everyone else turned up in t-shirts.
What are they screaming?
No to the wall. No to occupation. You can see some heads popping just right on top of the wall there ahead of us. And some things, shining things. That's like the helmets shining
Okay.
of the soldiers ahead of us. Just
Okay.
straight ahead.
So we can see right here by the wall how the young kids are starting to throw stones, and I think that was a tear gas canister. We probably shouldn't stand here because that would be right in the middle of the firing line. My face is broken, burning. Fucking hurts. Oh. They just started basically bombarding us with tear gas. There were really young kids there too, like 12 years old or something. We were all just running in all directions, so it's total chaos. Pretty horrific. I'm ready to get out of here.
We were invited back to Waji's house for lunch, and I grabbed Ronnie to ask a question that had been playing on my mind.
You put yourself on the firing line to have rubber bullets and tear gas canisters shot at you by your own people. Why do you do it?
Yes, it's true. It's not fun, but I think it's the least I can do, especially being the very privileged person that I am. It also means that I carry more of a responsibility. And apart from the political message here, these are also my friends. I mean, these are my family. I mean, you said that I'm being shot by my people. No, the people shooting me are not my people. These are my people. These are the ones who I would relate to and would want to live with and struggle with together. And I'm struggling against those who are inherently racist, fascist, supremacists, which are the vast majority in Israeli society. They are the enemy. They are the ones who we should be fighting against, and we're fighting against them together.
It took less than an hour to drive from the sea of tear gas back to the beach life of Tel Aviv. That evening, we were invited to a rooftop party at the house of Stav Shafir, who's become a J14 leader and spokesperson, despite the movement's desire to remain leaderless.
When you joined the social justice movement, you felt that housing was certainly a problem, but it wasn't the problem. What would you say the problem is?
It's Israel. There are so many problems, you just have to pick. I mean, at the time, I was mainly dealing with the asylum seekers, Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and all of those things, especially for Israel, just feel bigger than many other things. But today, I think it was a mistake. Israel has privatized everything from our education system to the Dead Sea. Everything was sold, and we just hadn't noticed. People just become poorer and poorer. Suddenly, we looked around us and we just saw that there was nothing. We're still expected to go to the military, to pay a lot of tax.
כשאני מסתובב בשטח אני רואה את אנשים צעירים, משפחות, אמהות, גברים, עושים אוכל מהקפצות. מי שלא מבין מה שאני אומר פה, הוא מנותק מעם ישראל.
That disconnection between the vast majority of the citizens and their government just became too cruel.
Do you think that you can change all this? Do you feel that there's a positive sort of feeling in the air?
Well, it's a year since that magical summer. I will never forget that moment. I just looked around me and I saw through the window that everything was packed. I couldn't see the boulevard, I couldn't see the streets. It was just people, rivers and rivers of people. That was one of those moments that you just see, okay, now this is really happening. And it's much more difficult today. The government has the strongest coalition and it can do whatever it wants. They're not allowing us to protest. They're like saying affordable housing is illegal and protesting about your education system is illegal and protesting about your healthcare system is illegal. That's what they're saying. And they push us into protesting about democracy, which is such a basic thing that's supposed to be taken for granted. Rallies alone and demonstrations are not going to solve the problems because the government is not doing anything. Even after the 500,000 march, there was no response from the government. I'm sure that we will see new political parties and more young leaders stepping into the political system. If we want to really, really be able to change this, we cannot avoid politics. We have to do it.
Stav is working towards politicizing the protest, while the movement's other celebrity, the impossible to pin down Daphne Leaf, is its emotional, apolitical face. Like most protest movements, J14 is battling inner disagreement while political parties try to apply their own agendas under its banner. The anniversary protest was bound to get interesting.